Good morning. And today is leg day. As I said before, I wanted to do a leg day video because I really haven't done those often. Now, keep this in mind. The reason I don't like doing leg day videos is because there's a lot of equipment that there's a lot of people around. And again, I don't mind people walking into the shot. It's an open gym, it's for everybody, but I just want to respect other people's privacy as much as I can because I care about the other gym goers. I know a lot of them probably don't want to be just a background character in a YouTube video.
It doesn't matter!
But we're still going to have to get that leg workout in.
Is the pump.
But first, we actually have an acting class today. And we're actually going to be doing commercials, which I'm excited for because I think commercials are some of the most fun. As if you haven't taken an acting class before, how we describe it is there's two different types of commercial styles. There's TV reel and TV beauty. Like, the TV reel is you're trying to sell a pharmaceutical product, things like that.
I'm learning that learning how to help people helps me. Counseling, social work, being a resource for other people.
Or has to be reality, whereas TV beauty is a little bit more over the top and fun because it's meant to be a more lighthearted and fun product.
There are losers and there are winners. For every moment of public agony, there is one of glory.
But I haven't read the scripts yet for the commercials because I want to go to it kind of blindly, so that way my instructor can tell me if I'm doing a cold read, like if I get an audition and I'm doing it just off the cuff and they need it that day, I want to be able to have my cold read skills on top form. That's why I for acting classes, things like that, that's why I like to go into them kind of blind, unless they specifically ask for us in the instructions to have this memorized and ready to go. That's an entirely different conversation. But I do like working on cold reads because I think that's a great way to get a little bit more natural on the fly skill, not the Jeff Goldblum movie. But anyway, I got my black coffee because I'm still on my fast. That fast won't end until around noon today, unfortunately. But 16-hour fast. My coworker and I have been doing that. And it really does feel good, though. Like, yeah, you don't have the food energy, but it really does keep the mind kind of clear. And honestly, if you do get kind of like your body starts to panic, get a little something in there because it's really, you got to eat at some point if you're starving yourself, essentially. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Commercials today, then we have leg day, and my roommate and I are actually going to be watching a movie together, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Can you believe I haven't seen that one yet? And it is October season as well as Christian Girl Autumn. So him and I actually watched the witch one, the Scooby-Doo witch movie. I forget what it was called. That was actually really cool. I was surprised. I haven't seen that one either. I haven't seen many of the Scooby-Doo movies. I didn't really watch that growing up. I have seen the live action ones though, and I had a lot of fun watching that. So I'm excited for the day, and whether or not the weather is going to be cooperative is a entirely different conversation. But we shall see, and hopefully the day's going to be solid. I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Peace. Oh, and one more thing I want to talk about is I'm actually playing a game called Labyrinth of the Demon King. It is a really cool, atmospheric, survival horror, almost RPG. You don't level up or anything like that, but you can upgrade your equipment. Think of the old FromSoft first-person games with a little bit of Ultima Underworld and a lot of Silent Hill and that PT game. Think first-person Silent Hill. It's a lot of fun, but it can get kind of brutal. Maybe I am just bad at these types of survival horror games because I don't play them that often. Yeah, it's definitely a skill issue. So morning acting class is over. It was a lot of fun, a lot of cold read stuff with commercials. Anyway, now I just got to make sure my camera is charged and at the ready. Also got to get changed into my gym clothes, so I'm going to take care of that now, and then we're going to head to the gym to hit some legs. I'll see you guys at the gym. So today I wanted to talk about not just Halloween traditions, but more so autumn traditions, like, Christian Girl Autumn and things like that. But there is a difference between Halloween and autumn, because autumn is a whole season, Halloween is the holiday, but they can intermingle. And the one thing I appreciate about this change of season is obviously the weather change. Of course, in my area of Pennsylvania, most of what we had during the spring and summer was a lot of cold and a lot of rain. So we really didn't get a chance to experience the niceness of those seasons. But putting that aside, what I like about the change of seasons from, a hot, fast-paced summer, if I can say that correctly, is how things can, in theory, slow down. I think this change of seasons can really help with acknowledging how fast things can go. Like spring and summer is sometimes, especially when we're in school, the moment we look forward to most. And when you take the change of seasons to something a little bit more chilly out, we can say, it can help appreciate the calm a little bit more. Really embracing the quiet is what I wanted to say more so than anything else. I mean, think about it. You have a nice hot cup of tea. You can be out in the woods, just either sitting on a bench or maybe sitting on a tree. Not in a tree, but on a tree. I mean, if you want to climb the tree, that's all good. But just sitting in nature and just watching the world change with the season and really embracing that, embracing the quiet, embracing the slow moment of the hot to cooler seasons. This definitely becomes more of a prevalent thing during the winter time, but everyone talks about how they get the winter sads because, it's so cold. You're not out in the sun as much. And it more so becomes effective when, you're transitioning out of the fun Christmas time lighting. But during autumn, if you just let yourself slow down and take in nature, the world feels like it's slowing down too. And I think that's something a lot of people are missing, is just learning how to slow everything down. When we're young, we have things to look forward to, so everything feels much slower. But once we're in the working field, there's outside of vacations, there's not much to look forward to. So embracing the slow of autumn is important. Obviously, I had to get some snacks for movie night tonight. Just some of these. These are the healthier snacks with quotes around the word healthy. And got my favorite diet pop, the cherry cola. Can someone explain to me, though, why chips are expensive? They're literally just potatoes in oil.
Got it. Number 24, the creepy compound. Got it. Number 25, Menace at Mummy Manor. Got it.
Why, he was his own private preserve. He don't like anybody being in it, no. Like so we noticed.
Wow, is this great stuff or what?
Right.
Yeah, I heard rise and I'm like, no.
Continue to come to our island.
So that's the Mayflower?
One was supposed to.
He's right.
Yeah, right. It's like, well, he's got a point. No, he's got a point.
But the city is so big. Where do we start?
Just imagine the testing the last level be like, okay, that's hard enough.
And now that we had our Scooby-Doo double feature finished, as well as watching some fun end of night or end of day creepy videos on YouTube, I want to talk about Yooka-Re-Playlee, just to differ a little bit during our Halloween season, because you know Yooka-Re-Playlee just came out, and I'm having a great time with it. Yeah, here's the thing. I already knew I was going to like it because I actually am one of the defenders of Yooka-Laylee, the original one, and Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair. I mean, everyone already liked Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair, but the original Yooka-Laylee, I actually enjoyed it enough to not just beat it, but get 100% in the game and the Platinum Trophy. So when I say that I'm really enjoying Yooka-Re-Playlee, you can take that to the bank. Now, Yooka-Laylee, I'm just going to call it that from now on, not Yooka-Re-Playlee. But Yooka-Laylee is a homage game to, you know, Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64, obviously more so Banjo-Kazooie, because it was made by former Rare developers. And I think one thing that's important is we're seeing a comeback of platformers, 3D platformers, that is. And it's about time, because Astrobot really set it into motion. And but there's been good 3D platformers over the years too. I mean, we've had Sonic Frontiers, Sonic and Shadow Generations, A Hat in Time, and like I said, I actually really enjoyed the original Yooka-Laylee a lot. So it's not like it hasn't been around, but they've been mostly either remakes or independent projects, which aren't a bad thing, because Yooka-Re-Playlee is HD not really an HD remake, because that's something we can consider something different, but it's a retooling of Yooka-Laylee, and it is a darn good one. And what makes this one fun is that it doesn't retcon the original game. It's actually an in-canon remake of Yooka-Laylee, and that's actually really cool, because this game is basically, the story is told like they are reading a book about their past adventures and they're reliving it. And that's cute. I like that a lot. It gives it, just like I said, it's an in-canon remake, not retconning anything. And whatever happens in this won't affect the story of the original game if they were to make a Yooka-Laylee 2, whatever play on words they would call for that one. Or even Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair. Now, this is just first impressions. And what am I viewing of it? I'm enjoying it a lot because I liked the original Yooka-Laylee, and this is just an improvement on that. I think the one controversial opinion I might have is, if I remember correctly, you had to unlock the world. Like, the more pages you got, the more of the world opened up. And that's something I really like. It felt more, it feels rewarding to do stuff like that. I could be wrong because I haven't played the original Yooka-Laylee in a while. It could have just been completely open, and the only way because I do know the one thing they did fix, because this was annoying, you had to do a lot of backtracking, because there'd be certain things you couldn't do because you need to unlock a certain skill, and then you had to go all the way back to the other level to finally do it. That was annoying, but in this one, you already have all the skills. It's actually a joke they opened the game with. You have all the skills already, and you can just go ahead and have fun and get all the pages in each level immediately. And they had to add more pages into each level, because with the original one, because it's basically padding, where you had to go to another level and then come back to the original level, just so that way you can do the mission properly. But now that you have all the skills right from the get-go, you can just do them right away. Now, if you only had the pages of the original game, like the original page count, you'd get through that game done pretty quickly. So they added in more pages, so that way you had more stuff to do. And you know what? The added pages are still really fun. Like I said, I'm still in the early hours of the game. And from what I've seen, a lot of people are really enjoying the new added content. I haven't gotten a chance to play the Rex arcade games. I remember the original Rex arcade games were annoying and frustrating. they weren't as bad as everyone claimed they were, but they felt not truly fulfilled. And this one, from what I've seen, how someone described it is they kind of play similarly to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. And that's really cool because I think that's a very underrated game. Now, with Yooka-Re-Playlee, or like I said, I'm just going to be calling it ukulele. Seeing changes like that, it makes me think that they did learn a lesson. And a good one too, because I think this is the game that everyone wanted when the original ukulele came out. And again, I'm a defender of the original ukulele. I love that game. I got the Platinum Trophy. I'm 100% in it. And funny story about that is the game had cheat codes, and what I did was I used the cheat code that made the game look like a Nintendo 64 game, which it kind of did, but it had fake bars on the screen. And I wish they would. I think if they would remove the fake bars, it would have looked much more. It would have looked a lot better. But I wanted to beat the game with those graphics on, and so I turned the graphics on when I actually got to capital B and beat him doing that. And yeah, capital B was a pain, but he wasn't as hard as everyone seemed to claim it was. The ones that were the hardest part of that game was actually the Kartos minigames. Oh, they're like, I've only played the first Kartos one because in the opening mission. And he was fun. You have to get all the gems in order to get all 3 pages he offers. And there are moments where it feels like this is a thing in a lot of platformers, right? Am I crazy for thinking this, folks? You know, you press the jump button, but then it's like jumps just slightly after you press jump. So like when you're on the edge and you press jump, it'd be like they won't jump. And he's like, I press jump, and that's a doozy. And same thing happens here with Kartos. Because the one Kartos mission that really frustrated me in the original one was the casino one, if anyone remembers that. I think if you read the comment section on the videos about that Kartos section, everyone was like, oh, this one was obnoxious. And even the Kartos boss fight, that was actually, I liked that in concept, but execution, I haven't played that one in so long that I can't remember if I thought it was a good boss fight or a bad one. I think, like I said, I think I liked it in concept, but given that you're not in true control of Kartos when you're playing with him, it could get kind of frustrating. But Kartos here, he does control well, and it is a throwback to the old school Donkey Kong Country kart sections, which I had no idea people loved as much as I did. I thought it was like, oh, this is a challenging thing. I really enjoy this. And then when I got access to the internet and saw people saying like, oh yeah, those kart sections were a lot of fun, I was like, oh, cool. That's really awesome that everyone seems to love the kart section of Donkey Kong Country, and you can see why they added that in to this game. And one thing that has been disappointing with a lot of the reviews is people saying, I couldn't even finish the first game, and then I finished this one. It's like, I wish you would finish the first game so that way you can truly appreciate the changes they made here. Again, I defend the first game. I don't see it as a bad game. I see it as a very solid 6.5 out of 10 if we're going on a number scale. It's nothing terrible, but this one, from what I've played so far, it definitely takes that 6.5 and is definitely, once I complete the game, I'm gonna 100% this one too. That's not even up for debate. I'm either gonna put it, from what I've experienced now, it's probably a solid 8.5. This is gonna be, it could even be higher. But a lot of that's going to come from me actually going through the game because I'm just loving it. Like, because 3D platformers, I'm happy they're making a comeback, especially with, hey, sweetie, it's okay. Especially with Astrobot winning Game of the Year and Bubsy getting 4D. That's insane. if they make a great Bubsy game, like, fam, we gotta make sure. We all already should make sure we're right with Jesus. But if Bubsy gets a good 3D game, or 4D game in this case, then the rapture is upon us, my friends. I'm sorry, but we all got to get right with Jesus immediately, and Bubsy 4D being a good game might be the proof we need of that. Even she agrees, and she's a cat. But anyway, back to Yooka-Laylee. The controls in the original game weren't bad. They were actually solid. I think they were very solid from what I remember. And this game and the Yooka-Re-Playlee are silky smooth. I love it. Obviously, when you're doing the reptile roll, I think that's what it's called, he's a little slidey, but that's on purpose because he's supposed to be like a wheel. And the one thing I think frustrates me, the only minigame that's frustrating me so far, is the second cloud race when you're racing him on ice. And I'm struggling to find where the first Rex coin is. There's some puzzles that it's probably in the same spot where it was in the original game, but Lord knows I don't remember where that was. And it's going to be somewhere so obvious that as soon as I find it, I'm going to be like, of course. By the way, in the other room, my roommate is actually playing Yooka-Re-Playlee. I got it at a discount because I have the first game. I bought the first game, and I think they might have done a discount for everybody, which would be very cool. Would be very cool because everyone should play Yooka-Re-Playlee. Again, I think you appreciate it more if you played the original one in full. Like, you didn't have to complete it like I did, but at least beat it. That would really help you appreciate how good of a reimagining this is. Not reimagining, but how good of a update this is to the original one. Because like I said, as someone who actually did enjoy the original game, this is like the game they should have. Like, if this is the game they were released from the beginning, we probably would have been on Yooka-Laylee 3 by now. It would have gotten great reviews. I don't know how IGN gave this a 5, so I don't know if that would have gotten great reviews. But the legacy of Yooka-Laylee would have probably initiated the next Banjo-Kazooie, because unfortunately we never got a Banjo-Kazooie 4. And the Banjo-Kazooie 3 we got was a weird platforming card game, which it wasn't actually that bad upon reflection, but it wasn't what fans were asking for, and that was kind of the issue of the game. We wanted a Banjo 3E, and Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts just wasn't really what we wanted. And that really is a shame, because when you want a sequel to something you love, you want it to see it evolve, but you don't want to see it change too much. Now, obviously, some changes can be great, like we see with Helldivers versus Helldivers 2. Definitely what they went with in that one was an exceptional experience. I haven't played Helldivers 2 yet, but just seeing my friends play it, seeing reviews of it, it's like, yeah, this is the true Helldivers experience. And I actually really enjoyed the first Helldivers. I played that one, even though it's way harder than I think a lot of people would expect it to be, especially if you're playing it by yourself. But when it comes to other games like Toe Jam and Earl, they actually had a sequel to that, which is actually a 2D platforming game. And that one got bashed a lot, but that Toe Jam and Earl 2 was actually really solid. I actually think I like it more than the first one. And then we got the third one eventually, and that wasn't bad either. So they went back to the original game style. They didn't do 3D platform or anything like that. And then there's Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. If you know anything about that game, here's the thing. This is probably one of my wildest gaming takes, but I actually really love Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. It's a point-and-click adventure game, and it's just fun to play. It just happens to start Pac-Man. I think the issue with that one is that it was called Pac-Man 2, seeing it as the official sequel, even though it plays something like the original Pac-Man. But I'm getting off topic. I want this game to do so well that 3D platformers come back in full swing. Because I know Donkey Kong Bonanza is doing really well. So the more, because like I said, we've been getting independent 3D platformers for a while now. Because we have that Demon Turf game, which people say is pretty good. Like I said, Hat Time is great. We also had Penny's Big Breakaway, which is actually made by the same people who made Sonic Mania, so they know a thing or two. I would love to see them try to do an actual 3D Sonic game. That'd be fun. If they could do the Sonic Adventure 3, they'd probably be one of the best people to do it, because Penny's Big Breakaway, I haven't played it myself yet, but watching the gameplay, it looks like a blast. It looks like a unofficial Sonic fan game. I mean, like I said, they are all Sonic fans in that, so that's more of a Crash Bandicoot style of 3D platformer, where you're going from start of level to the end of level platforming like you would in a 2D platformer. Whereas the type of 3D platformer Yooka-Laylee is a big expansive world, and you get to explore that. Well, it's like not an open world, but you get a big level, you explore the level, and you collect things in it. That's why they call them collectathons. And Astrobot, like I said, winning Game of the Year, could be what kicks off this true reignition of the love of the 3D platforming genre. And even getting Pac-Man World 2 Repack is another testament to that, because that's a solid remake. I never played the original one, so I can never say I actually played Pac-Man World 2, but Pac-Man World 2 Repack, great experience. It's way harder, not like Dark Souls hard, but it's tougher than you would expect it to be, and I appreciated that. And, oh yeah, the music, even in the original Yooka-Laylee, solid. That was good from the beginning. They didn't need to change that, which they didn't. And seeing a kind of cool upgrade system where you can get coins, you can get feathers. I think they call them quills though in the game. You can use the coins to buy tonics, and you can use the also costumes, and you can use the quills to buy upgrades for Yooka-Laylee. And that's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see an upgrade system, and some of the tonics you can actually use to make the game as hard as the original one. I don't like that those ones you have to pay for, because that means you do indeed need to play the game in the remake format. I wish those tonics were free off the bat, so that way you could you could just make it as hard as the original game was, just off the beaten bat. But that's such a minor issue that we can brush it off. And like I said, this is them retelling, in canon of the game at least, this is them retelling the story of the original game. It's not a complete remake of the original game. So the game being a little bit easier would make sense for this, because this is them remembering, not them actually doing it. So in canon it does make sense, but like I said, they still do give you the option to make it as difficult as the first game was. And it's not like the first game was that difficult. 3D collectathon platformers aren't really hard in the sense of things being too strong for you to take down. They're normally hard in like finding where things are and knowing how to get them. And one thing I really also love about this is that when you just stop, you can just look around and just see how beautiful this world you're in is. And the graphics are outstanding. The improved graphics are gorgeous. I love them so much, because it's the evolution of the 64-bit style, where obviously they're not 64-bit graphics, but if you were to take Banjo-Kazooie, say we're going to do an upgrade to this, make it for PS5 or Xbox Series X in their case, because Microsoft owns Rare, and do a complete overhaul, this is what it would look like. And as everyone knows, I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan, like it's not even close. I want to see them with the next 3D Sonic game make sure it has as much love and passion as this one did, because they showed that they do have a lot. They're like, Sonic is on such a big upswing right now, because Sonic Frontiers did really well, and I enjoyed the heck out of Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, also outstanding, even though that's one half a re-release, one half new game. And then we also have Sonic Racing Cross Worlds coming out. So us getting a new Sonic 3D Sonic game that's a banger, I'm hoping for. Oh, and I also like Sonic Superstars a lot. I know people didn't like that game, but I thought it was fun. And Yooka-Laylee really does show, if you actually listen to feedback and say, hey, that first one, we know we didn't bring our best foot forward, but give us another chance. And people gave them another chance, and you know what? People are rewarding them because it's getting good reviews overall. I'm enjoying it. I'm pretty sure it's selling well. At least I hope it's selling well. Because like I said, I bought it. My roommate bought it. We're both having a lot of fun with it because it's Yooka-Laylee. It's a 3D collectathon platformer. And that's been kind of put on the back burner for a little bit. And again, Astrobot being as successful as it is really helps set the groundwork for this genre making a solid comeback. And obviously, here's the thing. We don't want the genre flooded. We want enough games, but not too many. Because we know how it can get. You get too much of one, you get Far Cry 3, you get Assassin's Creed, both really good, solid games, and then you just get a flood of games that just within that series, and a bunch of games that follow that just rip off that formula because those two did well, and then eventually you just get tired of it, and that's a shame because Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, great games, and then like I said, they just flooded the market with open world pseudo RPGs. Don't get me wrong, I love myself an open world RPG. RPGs are my favorite genre. But when you just have so much of what is essentially the same game, it just gets kind of tiring. So I want the 3D platforming genre to make a comeback, but please don't overflood the market. Because if you do, it loses some magic, because again, it just becomes like, how much can we get out, and less, can we craft this one thing and make it truly exceptional. So I hope this game does well, and I hope we get a Yooka-Laylee 2. And that game is the game where everyone goes, yeah, this was it. This is the one we wanted from the beginning. Unless we count Yooka-Laylee in the possible layer as Yooka-Laylee 2, but it's a different style of game. And when I say Yooka-Laylee 2, I mean 3D platforming. Because I truly think if they put the work in, really, truly focus with how they did with this remake here, we got something great on our hands. From similar to like Banjo-Kazooie to Banjo-Tooie, Super Mario Galaxy to Super Mario Odyssey. There's magic here. I know it. Let's hope they pull it off. Anyways, guys, it's getting late. I gotta get to bed. Probably play a little bit of Yooka-Re-Playlee first, but I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Again.